Suzie Robinson showcases the end user and admin experiences along with search and storage functionality of some of the best intranet systems as reviewed in our recent report.
While many intranets and platforms deliver a good user experience, some really do stand out as delivering a superb experience for users. I'd go so far as to say all products we've included in our report deliver a strong experience, but I've picked out just a few examples for you. So for any vendors out there, don't feel offended I'm not picking you. It was a really hard decision. When we reviewed the user experience across the products in our report, there were 4 areas we explored as part of our scenario, as we wanted to see how vendors had made their products easy to use. Navigation was one of the areas and is tricky to get right, so I'll come back to that in a moment. We explored the overall quality of the UX for users, with interface items working as expected and consistently. Margaret, a restaurant manager, would find it irritating if a pop-up appeared unexpectedly, for example. Margaret also wants to keep on top of her to-do lists, so clear notifications that she can dismiss but also return to are helpful. Wing is Margaret's intranet manager, who fixes and develops things behind the scenes without Margaret realising who he is, and we all know how that feels. Wing has been asked by the branding manager to give every restaurant its own distinct brand, so the Oxford Street in London looks and feels different to Princess Street in Edinburgh. Using Omnia, this is something he's able to do easily. A good user experience shouldn't just apply to end users, but to admins as well, such as Wing and many of you. Powell Intranet is a good example of this in action, with its dedicated Powell Manager tool, with simply laid out options to browse through without needing technical knowledge. For Wing, he has a decentralized publishing model, so he needs a good overview of what's going on, but the admin experience needs to work well for his publishers as well, particularly the ones that infrequently update their content or publish news. This means governance and lifecycle tools are important to Wing, which Powell does well by expanding on the standard SharePoint offering. Finally, for an internal business like Wings, an international business like Wings, multi-language features are also important. I'm going to return to a couple of points I've mentioned before that are important capabilities for Wing. So the first is multi-language that I just mentioned, where Wing has dedicated translators who will translate key content for colleagues. The original and the translation need to remain connected with tracked changes and a simple interface to help with the management of content. While many tools offer auto-translation or some multi-language features, there are big differences in the sophistication that's on offer between them. And Omnia offers some very good tools, which is shown on the left there. The second is governance and lifecycle tools. These have improved over the years, but many intranets still lack simple and in-depth options that really meet Wing's needs. He needs to see what he's published, what others have published, the status of it all, and then take appropriate actions. Built-in notifications or other messages to help publishers manage their content are a great help, yet haven't appeared in many of the products that we've seen. Unity is an exception to that, and has very good tools around content lifecycle. So navigation, I'm going to return to that now. Navigation is a key factor in the usability of an intranet. What goes in the navigation menus is often up to administrators, but the way the site encourages people on their journey or directs them to relevant information is very much part of the product. Thought Farmer is an example of an intelligent navigation, which automatically adds navigation options based on the content page that's being built, which would remove the burden from Wing as he builds the site. For Margaret, she can then see the trail she's taken to reach a given point, so can easily backtrack if she's gone a slightly inaccurate route. Fallow is another example of flexible navigation choices, where in the screenshot you can see the content of a mega menu with an image dropped inside. This not only allows Wing to promote certain content or highlight an activity, but makes navigating around the site more visual and appealing for Margaret too. Excuse the phrase, but navigation will only get users so far. As a user, I'm a browser. I tend to look around to find what I want, but even I turn to searches when I can't navigate to what I'm looking for. Some products handle search very well, but it's still an area that needs addressing in others. SharePoint Online offers a good experience to use as an example here. Powered by Microsoft Search, the biggest benefit is the ability to search across the whole Microsoft ecosystem from one place, allowing Margaret to find a policy in the HR site, as well as finding a document in her OneDrive. The search will also federate content from integrated systems with a bit of setting up, so Margaret could also find ServiceNow tickets in her search results. The interface is pleasant and helpful, such as with suggested results as Margaret types. Wing would have to handle search management separately, but allows him to set promoted results to boost UK pension for Margaret, for example. Wing could also define answers to popular search terms, such as showing Margaret how much holiday she's entitled to, rather than directing her to a policy page to work it out herself. People finding is another important aspect of the search experience, and many approaches deliver simple profiles, potentially with a nice organisation chart if you're lucky. The reality is that users like Margaret may not be great at updating their profile, either because of a lack of skill or inclination, or they may not know who to speak to get information updated. Getting the behind-the-scenes data for the people directory can end up as a bigger project by itself, one that few people truly want to take responsibility for. Lifetile stands out from the crowd with the experience it delivers here, which we feature in the wildcard scenario of their review. Yes, the profile page is attractive and there is a good org chart, but what makes it so good is that it will automatically prompt users to update their profile data. A configurable bot in the background will trigger messages via selected channels with different formality levels and levels of tenacity to choose between, something that we really like. There's even an automatic photo checker that will reject any profile photo that doesn't meet the requirements set. So if Margaret submitted a photo of herself and her husband, it could be rejected because too many people are in the image. This approach takes a lot of the burden away from Intranet administrators, giving you time to focus on other things. It also means the people search is far more effective and a powerful resource, encouraging Margaret to keep it updated as she often relies on it herself to find experts across the business. Most intranets are the home for long, complex, and often important documents or information, particularly processes and procedures. When looking up information about planned and unplanned absence, Margaret is unlikely to read through reams of paper to find what she needs. If it doesn't come quickly, she's likely to lose faith and ask her manager or HR department questions that she could find out the answer to herself. Some products introduce tools to help people explore in-depth information repositories. Manuals is the name of the feature on Invoture, which allows large bodies of content from multiple locations to be structured like a manual or a book that can be navigated from the top level down to chapters, sections, and individual content items. There is also a useful A to Z widget as an alternative way to surface content from the manual, and an FAQ can be added for those things that crop up a lot. So when Margaret wants to know how many days holiday she's entitled to, she can quickly find an answer without having to sift through long documents explaining the company's dedication to mental health or how the amount of leave has changed over the years in the introduction. There are some great features in the market that help users with findability, navigation, and generally provide a great experience. I wanted to share a few other interesting things I've spotted during the research. First, as a restaurant manager, Margaret may change suppliers for frequent items such as milk and bread so that she can buy them at the lowest price the company has managed to negotiate. Having a thorough supplier directory that admins can easily edit, but also includes a feature for restaurants to provide feedbacks and rate aspects of the supplier service is highly valuable. I wanted to mention again how important a search interface is. If Margaret doesn't feel inspired to browse results and click on filters or tabs, then she may glance at the top results, give up, and complain that it doesn't work like Google. Including thumbnails and clear labels or filters are simple aspects that form a good search, and there's some things that we don't see all of the time. Finally, search analytics would be hugely beneficial to Wing. Being able to see how long people browse results before giving up, which terms didn't return results, and what the most common look-for content is will help managers with the findability across the site much more effectively. This is still an area that's lacking, but some products do it well. Ultimately, the examples I've shared with you here have been designed to improve users' day-to-day lives on the internet by simplifying the ways to do things. Both end users and admins expect a clean, contemporary, and easy-to-use site that behaves as they expect. Some vendors do this really well, and they all approach these areas in different ways. So think about what would work best for your business and what's most important to your business users before you explore their capabilities.
To see all the Intranet products and platforms we've expertly evaluated, visit clearbox.co.uk/intranet-report to download the free PDF.